else was always sort of second down and what have you, but suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North American Indian. What do you mean, a patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
Chase cars. Sorry. What do you mean?
That's what he did for his.
Sorry. Did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. but all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least he can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it, and you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Oh, okay, right.
Well, that time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that, I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below.
Jeez.
And I missed his head by like inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or like off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons, isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Hey, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off here. I just picked it up and chucked it. And like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fella was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra.
Right.
You live and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's great. There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie. I love that. Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about. Carl, a lot of people are absolutely fascinated to find out how you met Suzanne, your girlfriend of how long?
Ages.
Yeah. And they can't comprehend how, well, I suppose that there's any woman out there.
Well, there's someone for everyone, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's always my thing. And it's reassuring, I think. You know, we've chatted about the face transplants and that. You know, there's a face for everyone.
Philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really unbelievable.
No, there is someone for everyone, no matter what condition you're in or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I read on the email, someone emailed in an old Chinese proverb.
Is it old though? You know the Chinese proverbs don't age well.
It's something about everyone, everything, no matter what it is, has got one talent, right? And that's the same way in a relationship, innit? That everyone, you know, there's always someone out there, and that. I like the Chinese. There's another Chinese proverb that I learned on an email.
Go on.
He who cuts the wood up warms himself twice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then someone sent in that one about too many Chinese cooks spoil the broth.
Why is that's? I don't know who slipped the word Chinese in there, but I heard there's too many cooks.
Well, it was just all sort of Chinese proverbs and that.
One of my favourite on the same subject is a camel is a horse designed by committee.
What do you mean?
Well, it's having a go at the camel, and it shouldn't. But it's just, it's just a metaphor. And if you wanted to design a horse and you had that vision, but you let 12 people in the room have their say, it wouldn't come out as you wanted it to do, and it wouldn't be as good. A vision is more perfect than committee, because everyone having their say, it becomes anodyne, it becomes compromised. Whereas the best things you can do is have an idea and have a vision and auteur that.
Rick, can I just say now, I can tell from his look that he's thinking, which committee designed the camel?
Well, I'd say, why would you request the ump bit? Because that's just going to get in the way, isn't it? I've always said that about a lot of animals. It's like we've doubled up on a lot of them. We've chatted about elephants and mammoths, one or the other. And that's the same with a camel. I'd have that up there as what they're doing. They were good years ago in the Jesus times and that. Don't need them now. You know what I mean? We've moved on.
Well, not people who use camels to cross deserts.
What other? I'm going to throw some animals at you, and you tell how you'd have improved them if you'd have been Discipus.
So I can now go back. I can look at them and go, what are they doing?
And where have they gone wrong? What's up with it? How could you improve it? Like the camel, you go lose the ump.
I'd probably give it a bit more of a body. Cut down on the arms. And give it some bones. Because I don't understand all this. Getting in a jar is good. When does it want to get in a jar? It says...
Well, it only wants to get in a jar according to your stories.
No, but there's something that says it can get in a jar because it hasn't got any bones. But I don't know why it want to do that in the first place.
I can't even begin to answer that. Once again, you've claimed that you've read that they like to get in jars. I mean, how do they know that octopus like to get in jars?
Oh God, you can improve an octopus. Millions and millions of years of evolution, making it perfect for its surroundings. Okay, another animal for you then, Carl.
Giraffe.
What are they adding to the world? What are they doing?
Well, it's not about what they add to the world,
No, but
is
I thought that's what everything's about. It's about things are here for a reason.
No, because they work. The only reason is that they survived. They passed on their genetic material and evolved and was chosen by nature. It was selected.
But there seems to be a lot.
The reason they're here is because they didn't die. That's it.
No, but there seem to be a lot of animals that are like.
Do you think there's a lot of cheating? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying there just seems to be a lot of doubling up.
Yeah, so you get it down to like 8 animals that represented all of it. Okay, who would get in your team? You can choose 8 animals.
This is what I'm saying. If I was Noah, I would have gone like, hang on a minute. I've just seen something that looks a bit like this. Let it drown and have a clear out. But he didn't. He was messing about saving everything.
He was instructed by God to save everything, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but if he's been given that job, for me, he's sort of manager of that job.
So you believe Noah as well? You believe Noah happened as well, and he built a boat big enough to catch 2 of every species. You actually believe that as fact, do you?
Well, it's out there in book form.
Brilliant.
Alright.
We haven't answered the question that we started with. How did you meet Suzanne?
Just at work.
Thanks.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey!
There was this airline, and he's having a lot of problems, and a lot of
Pilot's too tall?
Yeah, the cabin was so tiny.
Only bananas were allowed in the cockpit for fuel.
Anyway, there was a lot of strikes going on, right?
Sure.
Because I don't know what it was about. It was over money or whatever.
Yes.
And
Well, get something that doesn't need money.
yeah, but
But what else could you pay something in, Rick? I mean,
peanuts.
Okay, peanuts or fruit, yeah.
So anyway, the boss of the airline, he had like one pilot who he could trust, right? And that was his son.
Right.
But the problem is with a lot of these planes, you need 2 pilots.
Of course you do.
And he's like, if only I had 2 sons. But he didn't. There's no point harping on about it. Right?
Sure.
He runs an airline.
He runs an airline, yeah.
But how many pilots are there? Because there must be loads.
No, there's loads, but the problem is a lot of them are going on strike.
Oh.
And each week you can see that we're struggling here.
But how can they get? But it was just the pilots that were striking, was it?
Yeah, the pilots were striking, yeah.
So all the ground staff and luggage handlers and all that was okay in the cab?
They were fine, it's just pilots were not happy with the deal and what have you.
Yeah.
Well, just close it down.
No, you can't do that.
No,
Rick.
of course you can't.
It's costing him a fortune if he closes it down.
Yeah, but what one plane's not going to make a difference in an airline, is it?
No, it's all the planes.
It's all the planes, mate.
Yeah, no, exactly. So if he's only got one person he can trust, knock it on the head.
No. What's the point? You've got to keep going. You can't just nip stuff in the bud like that. If you got a dream, keep it alive.
I know, but not with one plane and your son.
So anyway,
I don't know.
But that's the least of his problems, Rick, because he's got his son who's a brilliant pilot. He's the only guy he can trust. But it takes 2 people to fly.
Well, you can't fly then.
So the son, he's flying the planes and that. He's getting worried for his dad because of his business. It's falling apart. He's like, anyway, listen.
Well, one plane won't make any difference.
Don't worry about it. We've found someone who you can work with.
Okay.
And he's like, but I get past the picket line because, they know I'm your son anyway and they'll leave me alone. But any other pilot, they're going to start giving him grief.
They're tearing him to shreds, yeah.
He said, don't worry about it.
Unless he could swing over the heads of all the strikers.
He said he's staying over near the sort of quarantine area where all the animals are kept and stuff.
Right, okay.
They won't be looking in there. They won't bother.
No.
So he's like, all right.
There's no animal that could be a co-pilot. That's why.
I'll see you. He'll meet up with you in the cockpit.
He'll be out in the cockpit, yeah, sure.
So anyway, he gets in there. He meets them. At first, a little bit of a shock who he's going to be working with, but
Why?
he's thinking, as long as I can keep my dad's business alive, I can
Not
keep
with
a
one
job.
plane. Not
So
with one plane.
anyway, what happens is the strike's going on. He's flying. He's got his mate with him flying, helping out.
Who's his mate? What's his
The
mate's
flights,
name?
the flights are brilliant. Right? Everybody's loving them. They can't believe how smooth they are.
Sure.
You know, the shares are going through the roof. Everybody's like wanting to
Because
fly.
this one plane they've got.
That wouldn't make any difference.
Everyone's saying, you know, it's only a small plane, but it's worth getting on there.
And
if
it's
you
a
can.
small plane as
because it's a great
Oh,
experience.
Gone under, I'd have thought. There's
So
no
anyway-
way they can keep that alive.
Apparently they can.
So they're keeping this plane up in the air and what have you, and everybody's booking the holidays. It's almost like the favourite bit of the holiday. They're loving the flights that much.
Why?
Because it's really good flights.
Just
I
a
don't
great
understand
flight.
what difference
Apparently it's a great flight.
it makes.
It's
I don't
dynamite.
So
understand
anyway,
what difference it makes.
Everyone's happy. Then one day, what happens is a little bit of a problem.
Oh dear. You're not going to tell us that sort of co-pilot Coco he's not able to make it to work, is he?
Well, what happened is one woman who was on the plane got a bit peckish,
Right.
and said to the air hostess woman, said, "Oh, a little bit peckish. Have you got any sort of nibbles and that?" She went, "No, I got a sandwich." She said, "I don't really want a sandwich. You want something, like the usual stuff that planes give out, just like a bag of nuts or something."
Bag of nuts.
Have they not given those out yet?
So no, they don't give it for some reason. She was like, "Look, we've stopped giving out the nuts. We can get you
That's
a sandwich."
strange,
And the woman's
yeah.
like, "I don't want a sandwich. I just want some nuts." Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
A sandwich is quite a big meal and what have you. I just want
Yeah.
some nibbles, want some nuts.
Well, that's not available.
So I
Done. End of
Can't
story.
get your nuts. She said, "Well, why aren't there any nuts?" She said, "Well, the airlines had problems and stuff, and maybe that was one of the cutbacks. We've never took the nuts back on."
Never- yeah, sure.
So she wouldn't just leave it. She wanted the nuts, right? She's having a lovely flight and everything. She said, "I cannot complain about the flight. The
No,
flight
sure.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
Whoever's up there flying this plane is doing a
She's
dynamite
doing a
job.
great job, but I need some nuts."
Right.
Anyway, so
There aren't any.
Very demanding woman.
There aren't any.
It's a very demanding woman.
There aren't any.
Look, she's paid big money, right? She's probably in first class. She wants nuts. She's going to get
Nah,
nuts.
there aren't any. Leave it.
If she has to force her way into the cabin to get nuts, she's going to
Well,
get
she
nuts.
can't go there because she will be shot. You could ever go to the cockpit. That would never happen.
So she said, "Well, you're saying there aren't any nuts." She
Yeah.
said, "But earlier I saw you put a tray outside the cockpit, right? It had a sandwich on it, 2 Cokes and 2 bags of nuts."
Right.
She said, "So you're saying there aren't any, but the pilot's getting
Well,
them."
aren't they now? That was the last 2 packets. Done.
No.
Let's go
So
home.
she's going, "You can't have any." No.
We know,
She's
we
going,
understand that there's a dispute over
So
that.
she said, "Well, I'll go and have a word with the pilot myself because you only put them out there a few minutes ago. He can't have eaten
He
them
can't.
yet. I want
You
some.
say you
I'm
cannot
going
go-
over."
no.
I know this is it.
Yeah.
She was saying you cannot go over. She's going,
No.
"Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over because
No,
I feel
no,
like
you
I'm being
can't.
lied to."
No, you can't.
So she goes, starts,
No,
and
there's
the
no way.
pilot can
Well,
hear
they
all
can't
this
get in anyway.
chat about the nuts and what have you, and he's thinking, "What's going on out there?"
Yeah.
He opens the door.
Yeah.
She gets a glance in. Little monkey sat there with headphones.
Fucking bollocks. Well, that's the end of another podcast. Do register on rickygervais.com. We'll be able to email you and tell you what's happening when we finish this run of podcasts. We might have some downloads. At the moment, we're working on animating all the monkey newses. So look forward to that. The absolute bullshit that is monkey news in all its glory. This was hosted by Positive Internet,
Great guys.
the great guys that host the world's #1 podcast. Cheerio from me, Ricky Gervais, and Steve Merchant,
Goodbye.
and Carl Pilkington.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited. The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hello, welcome to the 10th podcast in a series of 12. Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And, of course, Carl Pilkington.
Right.
Now, thanks for all your emails. We've really started a community here, I think.
Yes.
We're all brought together by one aim. The fascination of the brain of Carl Pilkington, basically.
Yes, absolutely. There's thousands of people who are equally as obsessed as we are with it.
I really don't know why it's called the Ricky Gervais Show anymore. I mean, I was cynical at the beginning, but it's farcical. Welcome to the Carl Pilkington Show.
Well, people say they'd like to hear more from you and I, but I don't see why when you've got
do you know
this
what I feel
specimen
like?
in the room.
I feel like the ringmaster, but the real star is the shaved monkey in a jar that we
Yes,
bring out. Do you know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the star of the show. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we've had loads of emails actually, and we've had one from Nige, who's done this brilliant cartoon of Carl on the beach. I think we should sell those as postcards. But someone's beaten us to selling merchandise. If you go to www.cafepress.com/Mr. Pilkington, someone is selling everything with Carl Pilkington's head on it. Now, these are bootleg goods. We're not making any money from it, but I'm strangely proud. I just love to see millions of people wearing a little t-shirt or a baseball cap or drinking out of a mug with his little round head on it. He's made a clock which is perfect because it fits absolutely, you know what I mean, the sides of the head go right to the edge of the clock because it's perfectly
I'd
round.
like to see maybe as well those sort of rubber or plastic face masks that you can buy for Halloween with just Carl's face.
Oh, just millions of people
Yeah.
all look like Carl. Oh, that would be amazing. What a world that would be.
James Bevan has emailed in. He's from Abergavenny in South Wales. I'm going to read this verbatim. Me and my partner Ellie Richards are both huge fans of the podcast, and as she's not aware of this email, I would love it if one of you please on the podcast would ask her to marry me. So please ask Ellie Richards from Abergavenny if she will marry James Bevan. Cheers, keep up the great podcast work.
Well, that's done then.
Well, no, you see, now I was thinking about this, and I know that I'm the one who's read that out, but I'm thinking they're almost certainly going to want you, Rick, to do the questioning, because they don't want to go in years to come. Do you know who asked Ellie to marry me on my behalf? It was that lanky bloke you sometimes see stood behind Ricky Gervais at an awards do. It's so complicated. They want to go, it was the comedy legend Ricky Gervais.
But I think Carl's a comedy legend.
He is, but once again, Carl, you know, he might be a passing fad. You know, we might all get bored of him, you know, in a year's time. It could be like tie-dye t-shirts. So I'm thinking maybe whereas you know, you've made your mark on the comedy landscape.
Maybe I don't want to endorse this. I don't know what he's like. I don't want to suggest to a woman to marry this man I don't know. What if she goes back and sues me for selling some art? It's like me selling the rest of her life to this bloke on a podcast.
No, because, you know, it's more fool her if he's a loser and a weirdo and she agrees to marry him. She knows the guy. She's already got herself in a position where this man's emailing some people he's never met before. So she already understands what James is like.
Okay, based on your own experiences, Ellie, make the decision whether to marry, who is it? James or not.
I think just could you jump once more, because that's probably not quite as eloquent as they were looking for. So get on one.
Ellie, James says, will you marry him? This does not reflect the views of the management.
So obviously, James, you must obviously let us know what Ellie's response is, and we look forward enormously to finding out whether she's seen sense and said no.
Could he marry again in about 40-50 years to say if the marriage is still going?
And also, we should just point out as well that if, you know, because I think 1 in 3 marriages end in divorce.
All right, don't bring the tone down.
All I'm saying is, if they do end up getting divorced, we should not in any way be responsible for that.
No.
We can't be held responsible. We shouldn't have to pay any kind of child support if there's a kid involved. We're not paying any alimony. We were merely the messengers in this.
Yeah.
Carl, are you going to give them all the thumbs up there? Do you wish them all the best?
So you know, some people are into all that, aren't they?
I mean, you've been with Suzanne a long time and still no wedding bells on the horizon.
Well, it's sort of, it's gone past that time now. I think if you don't do it within the first sort of 9 months or something, sort of, it's kind of like, what's the point now? And I mean, she goes on about it a lot, but I'm not sort of, I don't like all the attention and that. Do you know what I mean? Of, like, everyone stood there watching and stuff. That puts me off.
So that's your only reason for not getting married, is it? You just don't like the event?
Mainly that, yeah. I mean, it's not the thing. Like I've said to you before, if you could do it online, if it was just a little box that you tick,
Sure.
I do, send, get back to work by midday and what have you.
Yeah.
But it's like a full day and you've got to like smile and that.
Heaven forbid, yeah.
It's just hard work, isn't it?
Pretend it's the happiest day of your life.
But surely, you know, if Suzanne, the woman you love, wants this very dearly, why not give it to her as a gift? Obviously,